orangutan di Borneo Orangutan Rescue Alliance atau BORA. BORA dibentuk pada 2015 dan ini adalah jalur yang kami lalui setiap hari dari area camp dan belakang sana adalah area kandang. Jadi area perbatasan antara area camp dan area kandang. Dari awal kami memiliki 6 animal keeper. Pagi-pagi kami harus bangun pagi untuk melakukan persiapan feeding.
Bagian buah per orangutan 10% dari berat badan orangutan. Ya bisa kita lihat di sini ada buah pisang, semangka, pepaya, nanas, ada buah naga, dan buah kerondong.
Lalu melakukan feeding, dan ketika siang hari karena sekarang dilanda pandemi, kami harus melakukan rutin enrichment dan kami juga sudah mulai memberlakukan program rehabilitasi kami yaitu sekolah hutan. Dan saat ini ada 19 orang hutan yang ada di BORA. Kami memiliki 3 blok kandang. Jadi di blok kandang 1 terdapat 4 orang hutan dewasa dan di blok kandang 2 ada 10 orang hutan. Itu masuk di kategori kandang sosialisasi. Dan di kandang 3 adalah kandang karantina untuk orang hutan kandidat lepas liar. Oh ya, satu lagi adalah klinik karantina. Jadi ketika orang hutan baru masuk, kami akan memasukkan mereka ke kandang karantina klinik yang terpisah dari blok-blok kandang lainnya. Namun kendala yang dialami saat ini adalah orang hutan cukup terlihat stres karena sudah dalam kurun waktu 7 bulan mereka tidak pernah keluar dari kandang. Akhirnya di bulan November awal lalu kami berdiskusi bersama tim medis untuk kembali melakukan sekolah hutan dengan berbagai syarat. Dan kami hanya bisa menyepakati bahwa sekolah hutan bisa dilakukan seminggu sekali. Dan ketika mereka menunjukkan progres atau perkembangan yang bagus di sekolah hutan, misalnya mereka mampu manjat pohon yang tinggi, mampu membuat sarang. Nah, selanjutnya dari sekolah hutan kami akan membawa mereka ke Pulau Pra Pelepas Liaran. Nah, di sana kami akan memantau lagi aktivitas mereka, apakah mereka bisa survive di sana, dan selanjutnya ketika mereka bisa survive, kami akan membuatkan jadwal berikutnya untuk lepas liar. Dan harapannya semua orang hutan di sini mendapatkan kesempatan kedua untuk dilepas liarkan.
To know more about BORA, we have Mbak Widi Nursanti from Borneo Orangutan Rescue Alliance joining us from East Kalimantan.
Mbak Widi, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Now, first of all, tell us and the viewers, how do your regular duties and assignments are being handled during the pandemic, and what are the challenges?
Running the rehabilitation process for orangutan during pandemic is like so hard, difficult, because we try to keep less contact with them because we share the 97% DNA with them, so we just want to spread the disease to them. So it's like so hard, difficult to less contact with them. But we also do the best for them, like even we less contact with them, like 1 year during the pandemic happened, like we just kept the rehabilitation program. Like we have a forest school that the orangutan is bring out from the cage, go to the forest to learn natural behavior with the other orangutan who clever. That we're not doing that because it's so dangerous to get contact with them, because orangutan is just like when we bring them outside of the cage, like they just have us, like it's dangerous to take a contact with them. So it's like 1 year we're not doing that kind of. But in the first of this year, like we try to do that routine again. But we have to use some requirement. So before the orangutan, like every single day go to the forest. Like now it's just like only twice a week, like that. So and now we rehabilitate like 24 orangutan in this rehab center, and 2 in really silent. So the 2 orangutan is like release candidate. So the main goal for rehabilitation center is just like release them to the wild, because so many orangutan come to the rehab center is like just come from the illegal pets or illegal trade. Mostly is that 2 cases, big 2 cases, like illegal pets and illegal trade. So some of them is just like losing their natural behavior because it's like too long living with humans. So we try to rehabilitate them, also examine them to make sure that they are healthy, because we want to back them to the wild again. So to make sure that we back them to the wild, they just like free from disease, free from the creatures, other creatures in the forest, like that. And also, we have a limitation mobility from the staff. We cannot go anywhere like we want. We just like when we day off, we just allowed to go back home, and then after that, we just go back to the rescue center, because we cannot go anywhere like we want, because the situation is just like the danger to the orangutan. So that's the big challenges run the rehabilitation process during the pandemic. And also 1 year, the orangutan, no one orangutan can go outside from the cage. It's just like, you can imagine like orangutan is just every single day on the cage is like to make them really, really bored. So the animal keeper just like want to give them like some games. If in the morning they come to the cage to feed them, and then at the day they come back to the cage like to give them some games. It's called enrichment to them, to make them always busy on the cage, because some of the orangutan is just like showing the stressful, so something like that. So we need to treat them to make them better on the cage. Even on the cage, like they busy doing something, like that.
Okay, but Widi, talking about the COVID-19 and about the challenges faced by the orangutans, and also, as you have mentioned before, the rescue efforts that you are doing alongside your team. It is said that due to the COVID-19 pandemic and also the rising cases of poverty in rural areas, people are said to return to poaching and also hunting down our orangutans. Can you please tell us more about the reality that you are facing and also the orangutans are facing, the threats?
Sorry, I can't hear clearly the sound from the studio.
Yes, Mawidi, can you tell us about the rising challenge of the poaching and also hunting of orangutans due to the COVID-19 pandemic, where rural people are said to return to poaching and hunting down the orangutans? Yes, Mbawidi, can you still hear us clearly? Can you please tell us more about the threats due to the COVID-19 pandemic? It is said that the rural people, are going back to hunting and poaching orangutans because of the rising case of poverty due to the pandemic.
Sorry, I'm still phone.
All right, then we're having some audio issues. Thank you very much, Mbak Widi, for joining us this evening on Asia Prime. Widi Nursanti from the Borneo Orangutan Rescue Alliance. Anyway, the recent data from International Union of Conservation predicts 5 years ago that there are going to be 100,000 some population of orangutans in Kalimantan, Borneo, and also Sumatra, the other big island in Indonesia that has a large population of orangutans. But now the latest says it's going to be down to like 45,000, and that was before the pandemic. That was the research from 2018, 2019. So God knows, with the pandemic happening and with the latest that we've heard coming from our friends in Borneo, we can only hope for the best.
Yes, and we have also a reminder for us all to take responsibility for our wildlife and also nature, because it is due to the deforestation and also the mass rapid fires that is happening, and also the poaching and hunting that is still being hunted down, because the market is still there for being used as pets, the orangutans that we have.
Exactly.
But we'll move on to some good news for tonight, where in Malang, East Java, a woman creatively turns garbage, or what most people think as useless goods, into wearable craft. And it is also fashionable and has high values. And we have Wahyu Tiar from Malang with the full story.
Krishnawati Evayana is an entrepreneur from Malang, East Java. She has successfully recycled waste and turned it into art piece. Evayana's craft is known for its distinctive form with an affordable price. Most of her craft are in the form of necklaces, but she also receives order for rings, wristbands, or bracelets, and corsage. She uses material that for some might be useless waste, such as used shirts, wood fiber, copper plates, plant fiber, zinc plates, to PVC water pipes. Now, her craft has successfully expanded to international markets. It has attracted world-class designers and couture houses for its ethnic and glamorous style. For the local market, she sells her craft from 200,000 to millions of rupiah. From Malang, East Java, Wahyu Tiar reporting for Metro Globe Networks.
Moving on to Palembang, South Sumatra, where an alternative tourist spot to spend weekends with the family and loved ones is a turtle breeding captivity. This is where visitors can interact directly by feeding turtles. Dozens of the African spurred tortoises, well known as sulcata, the visitors can meet when visiting a turtle breeding captivity on Jalan Basuki Rahmat, Palembang. Many of the citizens there are interested to pet the mainland turtle species. Take Andre Salim being one of them, where at the beginning he wanted to find a positive activity to spend his time during this COVID pandemic. And due to petting a turtle is new trend, Andre decided to create a turtle breeding captivity that can be open for public, especially those who are living in Palembang and its surroundings. Visitors who want to directly interact with the tortoises can come during the weekend for free. However, for those who want to feed them, they can buy vegetables, which costs around 5,000 rupiah. According to Andre, it's easy to nurse sulcata tortoises that only need a quite large space to ensure that they won't be stressed. All of them in this place receive regular medical checkups, especially when it rains. Considering that tortoises are native to the Sahara Desert, which adapts to hot weather, many visitors come with their family members because the place and activity can be an educational experience for children to get to know more about various pets and animals, while at the same time enjoying their weekend.
Selagi pandemi corona kayak ini kan kita nggak bisa pergi berlibur kemana-mana. Dengan adanya kura-kura ini jadi bisa ajak anak untuk melihat hewan-hewan yang baru, hewan-hewan peliharaan kayak itu. Kebetulan anak saya juga lagi suka-suka sama hewan kayak itu kan, jadi saya kalau berlibur kan nggak bisa kayak itu karena lagi pandemi ya. Jadi kita ajak ke sini untuk bisa melihat-lihat hewan-hewan peliharaan kayak itu.
Agak aman juga soalnya. Seru sih, tempatnya juga bagus. Kura-kuranya banyak, gede-gede, terus makanannya juga ada. Jadi enak lah untuk main sama kura-kuranya.
Bisa langsung berinteraksi.
Iya.
Tadi lihat apa aja selain kura-kura?
Ada kelinci tadi di depan, banyak juga. Terus apa lagi ya? Ada ikan juga sih. Tempat makannya juga bagus di sini. Seru banget di sini, lengkap ya. Takut-takut enggak sih. Kan yang penting safety aja sih. Tetap pakai masker, cuci tangan, jaga jarak gitu doang.
Oke, disampaikan seperti apa sebenarnya konsep dari tempat kita yang ada di Penakaran Surabaya?
Konsepnya sebenarnya kita cuma breeding aja sih ya. Tapi ya karena di depan ada kafe sendiri, jadi lama-lama jadi kita kasih orang masuk lihat gitu aja.
Kemudian ada berapa total, berapa ekor kura-kura yang ada di sini dan jenisnya apa sih kok?
Kalau kita di sini baru satu jenis saja ya, baru jenis sulcata. Karena dalam satu tempat biasanya nggak bisa campur macam-macam kura-kura. Totalnya 34 ekor sekarang. Ya.
Boleh sampaikan kok mungkin sejak awal ini dimulai dari mana, terus kok bisa sih hobi untuk memelihara kura-kura gitu?
Sebenarnya dari masa pandemi aja. masa pandemi kita kan lebih banyak di rumah. Ya namanya kita nggak bisa diam.
The role of village-owned enterprises, or BUMDes, is crucial in empowering the economic growth in villages. In Nagekeo district in East Nusa Tenggara, one BUMDes has successfully increased its village income, reaching 100 million rupiah annually.
Di tengah kesulitan ekonomi akibat pandemi, Badan Usaha Milik Desa atau BUMDes menjadi andalan masyarakat desa untuk pemberdayaan ekonomi lokal. Namun tidak semua BUMDes berhasil mengangkat potensi lokal dan meningkatkan kesejahteraan masyarakat desa, meskipun telah menghabiskan banyak dana desa. Lain ceritanya dengan BUMDes Pelita milik Desa Kota Wuji Barat, Kabupaten Nagekeo, Nusa Tenggara Timur. BUMDes ini mampu.
The health authorities in Sukabumi, West Java is giving vaccination to 128 people with mental disorder. They are now undergoing treatment in a mental disorder social rehab center, namely Palamarta in Sukabumi, West Java. Vaccination is given to increase their immunity and avoiding possible COVID transmission in the surrounding areas of the rehab center. Out of a total of 136 patients, 128 passed the health screenings and are eligible to be vaccinated. This program is in synergy with the Ministry of Health and the Social Affairs Ministry in anticipating the spread of COVID-19 in rehab centers. The similar programs are also conducted in Jakarta, Central Java, and also some other provinces in Indonesia.
Pangkep Regency in South Sulawesi province is popular for its exotic islands. One of them is Pamanggangan Island.
Inilah Pulau Pamanggangan yang terletak di Desa Matiro Mate, Kecamatan Liukang Tumpa Biring, Kabupaten Pangkep, Sulawesi Selatan. Pulau ini memiliki keindahan pasir putih dan pesona bawah laut yang masih terjaga. Lokasi Pulau Pamanggangan ini berjarak sekitar 28 mil dari daratan dermaga kota Pangkep atau setara dengan 2 jam perjalanan menggunakan kapal motor.
A local manufactured audio speaker box from Margomulyo, East Java has successfully distributed internationally through exports. Its quality is recognized by high-end international brands such as British luxury car manufacturer Bentley. Amidst the ongoing pandemic, a steel processing factory in Margomulyo, Surabaya, East Java managed to be a supplier for audio speakers for high-end auto brands from Japan, Korea to the UK. Now, on his visit to the factory, Minister of Industry Agus Gumiwang promised to assist the distribution to international markets. The East Java provincial government is also supporting the factory in terms of innovations. During the pandemic, this steel processing factory is also producing ventilator machine prototypes in cooperation with Surabaya's Institute of Technology.
Stay with us on Asia Prime. We have more news and information coming right up after the break.